Hello and welcome back for those that have been following us on our E3 conference coverage with Xbox Enthusiast. My name is Jamie and I will be your host today, but I am joined also by Chris and Kendra. How are you both
Hello.
doing today? Hopefully you enjoyed another wonderful E3 conference.
That didn't happen. Nope, but but I'm well.
Good. Kendra, what about you?
Yeah, Bethesda had its ups and downs as always. Love Dishonored.
Cool. Actually, Chris and I were talking about that when they were showing at the end. Neither of us have played the first Dishonored. I don't know why. Like, I had a friend who said I should borrow it, and I borrowed it. I just never got around to playing it.
It just had a price cut on both systems.
Sure.
Yeah. I actually think I got it for free at some point. Was it ever
Really?
gold, games with gold? I feel like it was a game with gold.
Yes.
Was it really?
Okay, so I think I actually own it.
Cool. Now, is now that Dishonored 2 is coming out, do you feel it's worth going back and checking out Dishonored 1?
Oh, Dishonored 1 is. It's its own animal. It's very much you know what you have to do, but choose your own adventure. Do what you need to do. It's worth experiencing because from what I've seen of the second one, they're allowing for more chaos. The first one was a lot more punishing to the chaos.
Sure.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get to the top of the list here and everything that went down. They opened up the show with a little bit of surprise. They're bringing Quake back. Now, I don't know if either of you are big Quake players, but before I really got into console gaming, I mean, I have my NES and Super Nintendo, things like that, but I played a lot of PC gaming back in the day, and at least Quake 2. Quake 2 was huge for me, playing that online all the time. That was one of the first games I remember playing where you could have mods, where I could like change my characters and weapons, and it was so good. But they didn't really tell us a lot about the Quake game. It's just going to be called Quake Champions. They talked a lot about esports, so I'm assuming from the sound of it, is it multiplayer only? Did they mention single player at all for this new Quake reboot?
It looked multiplayer only. It actually smells more like free-to-play to me.
Oh, okay.
From the way they talked about it, like this is going to be something where you buy your champions.
Oh, sure.
That's the way it looks. They didn't say that, but that's the way it looks to me.
Sure.
I don't know what they're going to do with it, so we'll see. We'll have to wait to QuakeCon, which I think is in August.
Sure. I mean, I know when Overwatch came out, some people thought it might be free to play, where you buy your champions, buy your heroes, but I could see, because sometimes those online-only multiplayer games work. Like Overwatch, it is huge right now. Tons of people are playing it. But then on the other side, I mean, you've got things like Evolve, where it just never took off. I'm hoping with a name like Quake, that alone could hopefully bring in more people to play it.
But, I mean, does Bethesda have its free-to-play game yet? I mean, outside of what was it? They actually had a Quake game that was through your browser.
Oh, was that like Quake Arena, or I forget what that was called? I do remember that though.
Something like that, yeah. But they haven't really thrown out their free-to-play anything. I mean, Blizzard has Heroes of the Storm. They have the first 20 levels of World of Warcraft is free now. They have what's the card game? I should
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. Yes. They have that. I mean, Bethesda hasn't shown anything in those waters other than Fallout Shelter.
Sure. Well, actually, speaking of card games, they did show off a brand new Elder Scrolls card game. Let's see here. Elder Scrolls Legends. Now, I've never been a big digital card game person. I haven't played Hearthstone. I know they've got that new Fable card game in the works, and now we've got this card game as well. Do either of you play any of those digital card games? Now, Chris, if I remember right, you don't really play those at all, do you?
Well, I play Hearthstone. We had this conversation a few weeks back when Fable was coming up.
Me for not playing Hearthstone.
Yeah. So when the Fable card game that Kickstarter was out, I like I'm more of an iPad. I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't really play anything on my PC. So
for a second, I thought you were gonna say an eye patch person, like you wear an eye patch like a pirate.
I'm definitely an eye patch person. I definitely am. So for me, the idea, and we talked about this with the Fable game. The idea is, if you want me to play it, it needs to be on an iPad. And so it looks like that, Bethesda's got that part right. It's coming to PC, and it looks like iOS and Android. So it's definitely a game, depending on if it costs. I mean, if it's free to play, I think that I would probably at least download it and give it a shot on my iPad, see if it sticks. I mean, I do like Hearthstone, so if it's something similar like that. I mean, I played Morrowind, was my first Elder Scrolls game. I played Oblivion and Skyrim, so I'm partially invested in that world. So if they can give me a game that's decent, that plays well on the iPad, we'll see.
Sure. And Kendra, what about you? Do you have any interest in the digital card games?
Hearthstone just about did me in. I'm kind of done with it at the moment.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's a certain kind of crack, that's for sure. So.
Sure. Okay. Well, actually, you were talking about, the different Elder Scrolls games you played. My first Elder Scrolls game was actually Oblivion on the 360. That game was awesome. Really loved that game. But the one that really took off last generation was Skyrim, and we just found out that Skyrim is coming back in a brand new remastered version. Now, they said it's going to have updated visuals, some new snow shaders and things like that. It's also going to have mod support, just like Fallout 4. Now, with Fallout 4, they said, mod support started on Xbox One, and that's going to be coming to PlayStation eventually. Did they mention mod support on here? Is it just going to Xbox One, or is it going everywhere?
They didn't say. They actually didn't really say much about the game in person. It was all just kind of text within the trailer, and it just said mod support coming. It didn't really specify. I'll give my 2 cents, and then I'll let Kendra talk, because Kendra, before we started, she has a certain affinity for Skyrim, so I'll let her wax poetic for a few minutes. So anybody who's watched any of our stuff knows that I'm not a big fan of open world games. I'm just way too ADD. There's just too many things that I want to chase, and I never get anything done. But Skyrim was a game that I really loved when it came out. I loved that I loved screaming at my TV because I could yell the dragon commands at my Kinect, which never worked. It never worked, but I just always loved you standing up and yelling at the TV, hoping that something cool would happen. But it's a great game. But that trailer they showed just looks phenomenal. So if you would have told me they were making a special edition before they showed me the trailer, I'd been like, I don't know. Now after watching the trailer, I'm like, I'm probably gonna buy that. So, but I know Kendra loves Skyrim. So, what do you think about the trailer, Kendra?
Gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. I love all the upgrades they did to the system. Well, that they did to the visual systems. What else they've done to it is yet to be seen. It looks like they moved it to a new engine, so we'll see if it still feels the same way. That's yet to be seen. I mean, they did say something about mod support, and they did announce it basically for PS4 and Xbox One. But outside of that, other than a really flashy trailer, they haven't shown much about it. I mean, this is a game that I've spent hundreds of hours playing, fell in love with, and did everything I possibly could do that I felt I wanted to do, except for finish the main story. Because who does that?
not me. That's the problem.
No one ever finishes the story.
Sure.
Unless you're doing a review.
Very true.
I don't know what they could really do to make the game different. I mean, you would hope that at this point it's going to come with all the included DLC. However, they didn't specify that 100%. You would hope that they're, that it's more than just just graphical. Maybe some of the combat, has been cleaned up a little bit. Maybe some of the collision detection. I know for me in that melee combat, collision detection can sometimes be a hurdle. But at the end of the day, Skyrim was one of the best-selling games on last generation, and there's no reason not to put this out for people that may have missed it or people that love it. For them, it's gonna fund the next Skyrim game, and for fans of the series, they'll have a nice, pretty version of the game that they can enjoy. So it's a win-win.
Sure, and I mean it might be good for me to pick up last generation. Like I was telling you before we started recording this, Chris, I had Elder Scrolls Skyrim on PlayStation 3, and as you know, that version of the game had a lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
So I only got, I want to say maybe halfway through it before it glitched out on me, and like it was a mess. So it might be a good idea to revisit that game, now that it's going to work properly.
Yeah, maybe. We hope, yeah.
We hope.
That's true. So before we move on, real quick, what do you think this game costs?
60.
40, maybe 50.
It's going to be 60.
Yeah, I feel like Kendra's right, and I feel like if there's any hurdle to me buying this game again, I think it's going to be that. I just don't know that I would put another full price, $60 price, back onto that game. If they gave me a remastered at 50, I'd consider it. At 40, for me, it's a slam dunk. But if they charge $60 for that game, I think I'm gonna have to skip it for now.
Well, what if it's 60 for the new players, but 40 or 50 for those coming back who already own the copy?
Oh, yeah.
I think I think that they should always do that for everything. So that's great.
Well, I mean, if certain remasters, because that's the problem with remasters. Some of them are full price, and other games like Ratchet and Clank, when that came out recently, I think wasn't that like $40 when that came out? Like it was a full remake. It wasn't just a remaster; it was a full remake of the first game.
Of course,
they still had to charge $40 for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? It could be anything.
Yeah. And I think they did that. I think they did that with Deadpool. Back when that movie came out in February, they re-released the Deadpool Xbox 360 game, and I think it was like either 39 or 49. So I mean, there's definitely precedent for it. I mean, to be fair, it looks like they put a lot of work into the graphics, and that's not cheap. I mean, that costs money. But I mean, to get people, it already sold a lot of copies. Typically you have two ways to look at a remaster. Number one is that you didn't have a lot of people play the game the first time around, so let's polish it up and give it back to hopefully get those gamers that missed it. The other side of it is let's give the gamers who played it, since everybody played it, something really cool, a definitive masterpiece edition of what they love. And in that case, and that's kind of where I think Skyrim falls, is I think most everybody's at least played it. Not most, but I mean I think the vast majority of gamers, especially hardcore gamers, have at least played it, if not still own it. And so for them to now double dip and buy it as just kind of a cleaned up version, charging full price I think may not be the way to go. But we'll see. We'll see what they put on it.
Sure. Well, to continue on games we put a lot of time into, they announced new DLC for Fallout 4. Now, I don't know about either of you, but I am still playing Fallout 4. Because it was a game where I started playing it last year. If you listen to the Xbox Enthusiast podcast, you've already heard this story, but I got one level or two levels before the end. The game glitched out. I couldn't finish the main story. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done. And I just backed away from it for a while. And then the Automatron DLC came out. And so then I started playing it again. And now I've sunk probably another 40 plus hours into this game. And I'm totally in love with this game again. And Chris, we were talking earlier, and I was saying, you know what? I was thinking, what's my favorite game, or the game I put the most time into this year? I'm thinking, it's Fallout 4. I'm thinking, but no, that came out last year. That can't be my favorite game for this year. It came out last year. But they announced the next batch of DLC coming to the game. The first batch is called Contraptions. It's a lot like the Wasteland Workshop that came out. It's just adding a bunch of new mechanics for building. They're adding track kits, elevators, sorting machines, and conveyor belts. And that's actually going to release next week. So if you're big into building stuff in Fallout, that's right around the corner. Then they also announced the Vault Tech DLC, which is coming out in July. And with this one, you can actually build your own vaults. You can experiment on the vault dwellers. There's all sorts of crazy stuff you can do. That should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the big one, kind of like how they did last time, they did the small stuff, and they came up with the really big one. It's going to be called Nuka World, and it's kind of like Disneyland. I mean, it looks like it's based on a theme park around Nuka
theme
Cola.
park. Yeah.
We don't really know much else about it, but I know I'm going to play it and enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Kendra, now I know you said you were a big Skyrim player. Do you play Fallout 4 at all? Or are you more of a Skyrim person than a Fallout person? Because I know there seem to fall into two camps.
I'm probably more of a Skyrim person. It's not that I don't like Fallout. I mean, I enjoy Fallout. It was something that sort of fell by the wayside, and occasionally I come back to. It was my partner, actually. We were talking about this earlier.
Yep.
My partner, who is well into the Fallout games, she saw that new DLC, and she had a smile ear to ear. She's actually laughing about it right now. So that's going to end up on our Xbox One when the day it comes out.
Sure. And I think, if I remember right, this is still part of that original season pass, I believe.
Yes.
Because when I bought Fallout 4, I got that special digital deluxe edition that came with the season pass. So I still haven't played Far Harbor. I need to get to that, but I wanted to finish all the other DLC first. So eventually I'll get to that, and then I'll hop into the new stuff too. So hopefully by the time Nuka World comes out, I'll have all the other DLC done.
I just want to say that for me, the one that was most exciting was the Vault-Tec one.
Sure.
Because after they showed it being set up, they gave you like this cutout, this side view cutout, which looked just like Fallout Shelter, but like in a fully realized 3D space. I mean that's more something I could get behind. I mean, it's, resource management and monitoring your vault people, and that actually could really be a metagame in and of itself and add hundreds of hours just that alone. So that's kind of cool.
Sure. And actually,
wait, what? Say it again, Kendra.
Sorry, I was saying Chris is the evil that nobody wants to be.
Yeah. That's all right.
Well, Chris, I was actually about to compliment you and tell you how good you're doing on your segues today, because speaking of Fallout Shelter, there's actually a brand new update coming to that in July as well. They're going to be able to explore new locations, battle new enemies. There's going to be an all new combat system. You're going to be able to meet new characters. And then the big reveal, it's also coming to PC.
Bam.
Yes.
That's good. Kendra, do you play Fallout Shelter?
I did for a little bit. I must have spent $20.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
That's good. So what, you don't play anymore? What made you stop?
It became one of those really needy games that you have on your phone where it's constantly bugging you about something or another. This person wants to be let in. You have a package here.
Oh, sure.
Just get made. I have children. I mean, I get text messages like that all the time from people who really need
Yes.
I don't need that from a digital device.
Yeah, no. I get that. Yeah, I played for quite a while. I haven't really played much, and my actually biggest frustration with it was combat, and so hearing that they're enhancing the combat actually makes me really want to go back. The game is a lot of fun. It's one of those that you can only do so many things before there's really nothing else you can do, and that's perfect for a mobile platform. You set up a few things, you get stuff done, and then you just kind of let it go. But I just kept my people. You get these people, and they level up and they're doing well, and then the freaking rad roaches come and murder them, and there's no good way to kill them, and it just ends up being really frustrating. So the new combat's really cool. The new location they showed, the Red Rocket, which was super cool. Having that kind of show up in the game. So yeah, I'll definitely dive back in when the update hits and just kind of play around with it, see what it looks like. Coming to PC is a no-brainer. I mean that should have been there from day one, so that'll be cool too.
Sure. And actually, speaking of updates and downloadable content, the next game they talked about with DLC is Doom. So they're actually going to add some more support to this game as well. They're adding the Unto the Evil DLC. In that, it's going to have 3 new multiplayer maps, a new demon, new armor, new taunts. They didn't have a release date for that, but this is going to be released within the next couple of months. They're also adding a brand new update to the Snap Map mode, 2 new multiplayer modes, a Capture the Flag mode called Exodus, and a multi-zone capture mode called Sector. So they're going to keep building on this game. Doom is a game where I wanted to pick it up because it's got that old school first-person shooter feel to it. Like Wolfenstein, that had the similar feel. Love that. Played through that. It was an awesome game last year. I really want to get my hands on Doom, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Do either of you have you played the new Doom yet? Kendra, have you checked out Doom yet?
Yes, love the single player.
Good. Now, have you played any of the multiplayer though?
It sort of feels like a less capable Halo.
Okay.
It's not Doom multiplayer. Like I remember it back in the day, running around on maps a million miles an hour trying to get hit, and there was no net code to speak of, so you weren't really hitting anything even when you thought you were. They lost that unpredictability, and the rocket launcher doesn't do what you feel like it's supposed to be doing. And then you end up with people who go and grab the demon runes, and they get 20% of their kills in like 3 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah. So like it's one of those things where if you don't get your hands on a demon rune, or if you don't get your hands on one of the power weapons, you're pretty much screwed. Your team is done.
Sure.
That's fun. That's fun.
I kind of wish Andrew was here because we all know how big of a fan. Andrew reviewed it for Xbox Enthusiast, and he's just been talking that game up like crazy. So
yeah,
but he actually is at E3 right now, so he's not with us.
Yeah, well, you can pretend I'm Andrew for a minute. I really love Korra. It's my favorite game, and then I really love Doom because it's so amazing.
Right, thank you. That was a great impression. That was like spot on.
I feel like that.
Well, the single player is amazing. It's the multiplayer that's problematic.
Yeah. So this is what and so this is a great segue into what they're doing because for me, instantly when I hear Doom, I'm like I have no interest in this. I'm definitely not a multiplayer fan. I don't care about it. But I do like single player stuff. I like story driven stuff, and I like first-person shooters. So everything that Andrew said in the review and even in our podcast was that the game is fantastic based on single player alone. So they also announced, along with all the DLC coming, they want to make sure everybody gets a chance to play it. So starting right now, and we actually have this up on XboxEnthusiast.com, but starting right now, you can download the first level of Doom, the single player first level of Doom for free, and it's called Doom Demo. So if you don't go to our site, you can just Google Doom Demo and probably find it as well. But they want everybody to try out the game. It's been universally praised, and so I think this is just Bethesda being like, look, if you're still kind of on the fence, we want to show you how great this game is. So I've already downloaded it. As soon as we're done, I'm going to jump in and play the first level, and I may actually end up buying it before the night's over. So I think it's good that they do something like that.
Cool. Well, to keep it on the Doom Fallout train, this is a little out of order from what their conference was, but they announced that Doom and Fallout 4 are coming to VR. Wow. Which is going to be crazy. Bethesda said they feel that the best games for VR are those first-person shooter type games. So they're bringing their 2 biggest franchises, well, not biggest franchises, but the games that are big for them right now to the VR. We don't really know about Doom when it's coming, but they did say that, let's see here, when was it?
I think it said April. Was it April next year?
I know that it said 2017. I can't remember if they said a month or not. I was checking my notes. But in 2017, it's coming, I don't know if this is exclusively, but to the HTC Vive. It's going to be the place you can get Fallout 4 in virtual reality in VR. That's going to be crazy. I mean, I absolutely love Fallout 4. I can't get enough of it. but I don't have the money to invest in VR.
Yeah.
So I'll probably never experience it.
Yeah, so I have a couple of concerns
Sure.
just about this. So first off, Doom in VR sounds horrible. That game is so fast paced. I mean, I feel like I would just literally black out from playing that game if it was in VR. So I'm
Just
not sure.
blow chunks everywhere, just throw up.
Yeah,
That'd be awful, man.
I'm not sure. And I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys have tried VR or not yet, like the actual current iteration or not. But games can do it really well. But the faster you go in a game like that, and having to move your head around, like it can be very disorienting. And I just can't even imagine something fast paced like Doom. On the Fallout train, I think Fallout's perfect. Here's my problem. They only announced it for Vive. I feel like if it was coming somewhere else, they would have announced it. Maybe not PlayStation VR, because maybe that's still too early. But I mean, Oculus is pretty much hand in hand with Vive. So if they didn't announce Oculus, I feel like that they're going just with Vive. So my problem with that is, if you don't know the difference, Vive has the room monitors. You have to put up 2 boxes that kind of give you a square area of play, and that's where you play at. And so with that, I don't know how you go around an open world with the size of a closet. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. If it was announced for Oculus, Oculus Rift and then PSVR as well, lets you operate it sitting down. So the idea is that you could sit down, you still control everything with a controller, you just use the actual Oculus Rift to basically look around in a 3D space and kind of see where you are. But the Vive, the thing that sets the Vive apart is that you can literally walk, because the VR can tell where you are in 3D space. But it can't walk with you around all of Boston. So I don't know how that translates. So the way the Vive used movement in the demo that I played, and it was a Valve demo, is that you could kind of cast your shadow in the distance, and it would be like a little reticule far off in the distance, and you could highlight, hold down the button, and when you kind of got to where you wanted to go, you just let go of the button, and you would teleport to wherever that icon was. Huh. So like if you were trying to get around a large space, you could walk within a couple of steps, but if you wanted to get way on the other side of the room, you had to throw that icon, that reticule out, and then teleport to that place, and then you could kind of walk a few steps around in that area. So that's I mean, because if they're proposing this as a full Fallout experience and not just like a tech demo-y kind of section of the game, I just don't know how you do that with Vive. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I say all that to say that I'm stinking interested. I mean, VR is amazing, so we'll see.
I don't think they're going to use that though. Like I know that they have the whole room movement, but I don't think that they would use that for that. That's not something you would use that for.
Yeah, but and I agree with you, but like that's Vive's whole thing. Like Vive is all about using. You have to have the reticules on to use Vive, at least in its current state right now. So that doesn't mean you have to walk around. I mean, you can obviously still sit down and use that, and that may be the way that they're going. It just seems interesting that they would announce it for Vive, and that's kind of Vive's push and Vive's technology. So it's definitely interesting to see. I would have been a lot more excited if they would have announced it for Oculus Rift too, because again,
right.
I think that's coming to Xbox One, so then that means that I could actually play this. I said I think it is.
Sure.
Well, I think this has more to do with their relationship with Valve than anything else. I mean,
agreed.
They have an amazing relationship with Valve, and the Vive, I think, is their VR thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this speaks more to their relationship than it does to what the device can do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of days how many companies have VR. I mean, that they're talking about. Because I mean, VR is everywhere in gaming right now. So now that Bethesda has mentioned VR, we know PlayStation's going to mention VR. Now we'll see if Microsoft and Ubisoft do tomorrow. I mean, I'm assuming they will. I'm assuming they're going to be on the bandwagon just like everybody else. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
they have to have something.
For Honor
Sure.
VR.
The one big surprise I think we all got from this year's show for Bethesda, I know Chris, you and I were talking kind of while the conference was going on, and we're like, what is this trailer for? What is this? We had no idea. Prey is back. Prey 2 got canceled, 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was, and now they brought it back from the dead, and it actually looks pretty cool. Now, Kendra, I think you wrote the story for us on Prey 2, right?
Yes.
What can you tell us about Prey 2?
Not much, actually. Apparently, you are living the same day over and over and over, and each time things are getting darker and transforming. And I think the main character's name was Marcus. I can't remember at the moment.
Yeah, Marcus. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like he's losing his sense of reality, and there's something happening. This speaks to sort of a cerebral first-person shooter, sort of like it's more about playing with your head than it is about reflexes and stealth. So it's going to be interesting. I was a fan of the original Prey. I actually really enjoyed it, well, until Portal came out. Because Prey did a lot of that stuff where it played with your expectations, and it sent you on a lot of trips. Like, it would drop you down onto a literal microplanet that was in glass and then spit you out on the other end, or it'll put a reflection of something that you think is a reflection or an enemy, and when you open fire on it, it would actually be you.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is weird. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of the spookies, and that trailer scared me a few times. My initial thought, first off, it looks like Venom, right? It looks like the symbiote is what I got from like that little black like squishy thing that's flying around at him. It kind of reminded me of
Squishy thing.
yeah, you know what I'm about. You know what I'm talking about. It looked like the symbiote from when Spider-Man first got the black suit. But it looks like there's a lot of eye stuff. In the way that he like looks at his eye and his eye is getting kind of irritated, and then there's like a machine a little further in the trailer that it looks like it's made for an eye socket, and he's pulling it up to his face. So not that I have an idea what that means, other than just to say it looks like it's you said, I think Kendra, you said cerebral. It looks like it's very much mind driven, which could be really, really interesting. I will probably never play it because the trailer scared me, but it definitely
You are easily scared.
yeah, I am very easily scared, but this just the end, at the very end of the trailer, it shows yourself in the suit that he keeps putting on, Marcus, talking to himself. Marcus, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna have to tell you, or something like that, or you're not gonna like what comes next, and then it kind of cuts. So it looks super intriguing. So I'll be sure to read everybody's reviews when they play it, whenever it comes out.
And I will buy you a teddy bear.
Thanks. Thank you. I just gotta play it like at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's what I have to do. So
All the windows open, all the lights on, you'll be good to go.
yeah, with people in the house.
The volume all the way down. It'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Well, the last game they talked about, we kind of already talked about at the beginning. They showed quite a bit of gameplay and an additional trailer for Dishonored 2. Now, Kendra, did you want to talk about Dishonored? Is there any other things you'd like to add on our discussion about Dishonored earlier?
Wow. I'm
Quite a bit.
processing Dishonored, actually. It was a lot of showing the massive upgrades that they brought to the tech. The world looks a lot better. It looks more lived in and more developed. You can really tell what is happening in the city just by looking at the walls, which is really interesting. But also what they showed that really interested me was not really Domino or Mesmerized, but at the end of their gameplay demo, where Emily is in a house and she's seeing it in as it is in the future, but she can see it in the past and then step into the past.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
was really interesting to me because that gives you new sort of avenues of stealth. Like it makes the game four-dimensional, and that's not something I've gotten to play with in games.
Yeah, yeah. Now, did they have just for those listening, I don't think Jamie or myself played the first Dishonored. Did they mess with time travel at all in the first game?
No,
Okay,
no. I
so
mean,
the
I mean,
completely new mechanic.
you could bend time, but I don't recall any time travel.
Okay, okay, okay. And just from my knowledge, this is a completely made up world, right? This isn't like
Yes,
England. Okay, so this is like made up world. Okay.
yes.
Now, the time travel mechanic reminds me of I can't remember what the game was called. It was a first-person shooter game where you manipulated time. You could jump into the past and the present, and you had this gun where you could like make things rewind. Like you rewind. I forget what that game was called.
Oh,
It began
Prince
with
of Persia. Prince of
was
Persia.
it like synergy?
no,
Not
no,
synergy. What was
no.
that
It
called?
was
You know what I'm talking about?
Singularity.
Yes, Singularity.
yes.
That
Well,
game
there
was
was another
really
one
good.
before that
So
too.
and Prince of Persia too. I really do enjoy games you can like manipulate time. So
Yeah.
that could be really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, all things considered, I I've never played Dishonored 1. I haven't. Seeing the
think.
trailer, yeah, seeing the trailer does make me. I think I'm gonna jump in and just play it and see. Like it looks good. I love games that kind of give you freedom to do the things you want to do. I like kind of trying to skip combat, and they talked a lot about how you can kind of go through and choose not to fight or not to necessarily go a specific route or whatever. So I like to try to find stealth or try to find ways. But one of my favorite things in the demo they showed was when she set up the like shock grenade, and she used a domino power, which
Yeah.
assigned something that happens to one person to other people, other enemies, and so she assigned that power, to like 3 of the guards, and one of the guards got hit with a shock grenade, and that then dominoed to the other 2, and they all were dazed, which allowed her to make her move on her target. Like that kind of stuff really intrigues me. I do like that sort of a gameplay. I'm not so much a runner gun. I like to kind of take my time and kind of pace out my attacks. So it looked really interesting. So I may jump into the first one and maybe give it a shot later. It's going to be a busy fall, though, man. It's going to be a busy
Right.
fall.
No. We all know fall is just going to get moved to spring of 2020.
Sure.
That's true.
That's what always happens.
That's true.
But okay, that is pretty much everything that happened at Bethesda. Now, I don't know about both of you, but I think I enjoyed Bethesda's more than EA.
Yeah.
Not with Bethesda's conference, I felt like everything they showed was good, even if I didn't enjoy it. Like the card games, I don't really care for. I know they're popular. One thing we didn't talk about, Elder Scrolls Online. They talked about that. But what they brought, I mean, they had dates. It looked good. And most of it was about supporting games they already have or bringing back old franchises.
Yeah.
So at least for me, I'd say a thumbs up on Bethesda. Kendra, what about you? What do you think about Bethesda's conference overall?
Well, I enjoyed it. Just really like the fact that I got to see more Dishonored 2.
Sure. But okay, Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. We talked enough about EA, and they really just kind of failed to deliver. I mean, EA, I think, is the 3rd biggest publisher in video games, and they showed nothing. Bethesda's almost kind of like the reverse of that. Bethesda doesn't dive into a lot of things, but the handful of things that they do very, very well, and they do it to cater to an audience. Like you have a Skyrim audience, you have a Fallout audience, you have a Doom audience, you're bringing back the Quake audience. Like they know the people they're making games for. Just like what you said, not everything they showed, not even a lot of what they showed is going to be specifically for me, but you could tell that what they were making comes from from a place of passion, and it's built for the people that like that kind of game. If you're an MMO game, like the stuff that they're doing with Elder Scrolls Online looks great. If you're a card playing game, you know, you have the card game. You know, if you're a mobile fan, the updates to Shelter look fantastic. If you're a shooter, like, I mean, they touched all the bases. So I think it was great. I would give it a thumbs up too. Really, the only huge surprise out of the show was Prey. You know, unfortunately, so much leaks before the shows are really getting to launch. You miss a lot of that wow factor, and I feel like that, you know, that we're maybe feeling a little bit of that. But I think Prey definitely hit that nail in this show. I mean, we had no idea what that game was going to be, and it looked really creepy and really kind of cool. So, yeah, overall positive. I think they did a good job. We'll look at Dishonored definitely when it comes out, and you know, the new Fallout stuff looks great. So
sure, cool, awesome. Well, that's what we thought of Bethesda show. If you have, you know, different feelings, let us know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to check out our EA video we did previously, and then of course tomorrow we've got Microsoft and Ubisoft coming up. So make sure to check those out as well.
Yep.
So until next time, we are out.
Bye.
Bye.